Hello, it's another interesting episode of Inside Out, live in Delta State. Today we have a topic that I think concerns all of us as Nigerians. A lot of the times we've seen edifices being opened, roads being declared, all sorts of things we've commissioned in this country. And a few months, years down the line, you go back to that same place and you're wondering, is this that same thing? Is there something fundamentally wrong with the structure? Is it us as human beings? Do we just not take care of things and let them rot? Or is it about the engineering? Is that what is wrong? That's what we want to find out today. Maintenance culture. How effective is it? I think I have a panel that will do justice to this topic. From my extreme left, which would be your right, please help me welcome Engineer Adeleke Olanrewaju. He's a civil engineer. You're welcome to Inside Out. And the very stunning, well put together, as I always tell her, young lady that I can see. Her name is Otautu Favor. She's a journalist. You're welcome to Inside Out. From the Directorate of Special Infrastructure, Delta State. He's a director in that directorate. Engineer Solomon Agagba, you're welcome to Inside Out. You're welcome, Francis. Okay, let's get the ball rolling. I mean, you would immediately think that everyone would know what we would say about this, but I'll start with you, Francis. What do you think? What's your opinion? Do we have a maintenance culture here?
So the look of things in this Nigeria, the maintenance culture, in the federal sector now, I guess there is no maintenance culture, not at all.
There's none?
Yeah.
Why do you say that?
You see, like in the federal sector now, most projects now that is being allocated out now for some contractors now to do it, there is no, certificated materials for them to use. So instead of that, most of the projects you see in the next 2 or 3 years, you see most of them being dilapidated, like the road. You see a road that is being tied within the next 1 year. You found that the road, Porto and where have you. So in that area, the maintenance culture is not anything about it.
Favor, let me ask your opinion. What's your opinion, especially as a journalist and someone who goes round? What is your opinion of our maintenance culture?
I really want to say we as Nigerians, we don't have a maintenance culture because we're used to just getting things done and leaving it as it is. And you and I know, no matter how it is, even your personal house, if you have a personal building and after building, painting, let's take a white color, for example, you painted the building white and after some years, you just want to leave it like that. That building, after some time, is going to turn brown and it's going to change. It's not going to be as beautiful as the first time it was built. So when you get this built, as time goes on, maybe year in, year out, if you want to maintain that color, you want that color to still be as beautiful as it was when it was built, you just have to keep painting it.
As human beings, going outside government now or whatever, as human beings, as Nigerians, with even our personal things, do you think we have a maintenance culture?
Yeah, to a large extent, some people have a maintenance culture. Some people, I won't want to generalize, but it's a pity that as Nigerians, we don't have, maybe especially when it doesn't affect us, we don't have a maintenance culture. Okay. We just want to leave it there.
Engineer Adeleke. Yeah.
In this country, we don't believe in maintenance. You build a house for a man, and he will call you after about 5 years. He say, engineer, this key is bad, though. Come and change it. Nigerians believe that once you've built, and that's the end. So before you can have a culture about it, you must believe in it. Our people don't believe that you must spend money to maintain a thing. And
you mean even personally?
Even personally. Yeah. If you look at somebody now, maybe a girl is putting on Brazilian hair, you say, it's too expensive. So you see.
But is it not too expensive?
It's too expensive. But the thing is, but you might buy Brazilian hair, and that will last you throughout the year.
How come you know so much about Brazilian?
I know it. Yeah. Now let me tell you again. We are
they say you're an engineer.
Yes,
Brazilian hair.
You know, let me tell you, we are a people that want omelette without breaking egg.
Okay.
You want the results, you don't like the process. So we want very fine structures, fine things, but we don't want to go through the process. So we don't believe in it. And when you don't believe in a thing, you cannot say you have a culture. So it takes you to believe in a thing. Then the question you ask yourself, Nigerians, do we believe in maintenance? We believe that once it is built, it is built. I was thinking that we'll give a fair definition of maintenance. Is wanting to put something
so you started, give us, you know,
into continuous use,
okay,
or you want to take it back to the original state. You want this thing, you build this house, for example, you do maintenance to make it functional at all times, or you want it to remain as it was built. Then you see that this is lacking in most of our society, even as an individual.
Okay, you are a construction engineer?
Yes, I'm a civil engineer. I run a construction company, of which I'm the CEO by the grace of God.
I want to ask a question, because you talked about roads and having lifespans and everything. How is it that within a short period of time, even houses already start to fall apart? They renovate a school today, you go next week, the door is bad. The blackboard is falling apart. You go abroad, the Western world, as you have said it, they will show you a building that is 120 years old and somebody is still living in it. What is wrong structurally as an engineer? That may be the engineering design might be wrong. You can say, okay, something might be wrong from the beginning. For example, if you are building a house and you do steel roof, like government is doing in Delta State now, if you go to St. Patrick College, you will see that the new structure is done with steel roof. What's the difference with that? The
steel roof and the wooden roof, if, for example, you use substandard wood or the wood is not treated, that means termite will come and eat the wood. Very soon, you will need to change the wood. That's taking it up for renovation. Very soon, you will need to change the roofing sheet. But, you know, if you bear in mind where you are building, maybe you are building in Warri, for example, you are not supposed to use zinc because the weather itself makes the zinc in that area to corrode. There's a particular roof that you are supposed to use. Now, if you say a 5 classroom and you are using Which Tech, which is the latest this thing, and you say Which Tech is going to cost you 10 million. And I say, what? Roof, ordinary roof, 10 million, because they are used to zinc. But if you look at it over a period of time, you change this zinc, you change the wood, it's going to be more expensive in the long run. So in the building, you have to take cognizance of the fact that, maintenance will come in. If you use this material, you will need to change it every 2 years. If I do this, you will need, when we build for people, I will tell you, if you use this long span, this is what you get. If you use this particular roofing sheet, this is what you get. If you use Which Tech, which is the latest roof, is almost there forever. It hardly leaks because of the way it is locked. Then the client will sit down and point to one. You've been able to educate the man. So if the thing starts leaking after 5 years and he decides to choose, he will know. But many times, we don't have that orientation. Are
you saying that a lot of the time, architecturally or structurally, what is wrong
with the materials that are used? The materials that are used, which invariably will affect the cost. So we need to educate ourselves. If you go by this material, this is what you get. If you go by this, this is what you get.
Let's take a break. We'll be right back. Thank you. That was a good opening for us. It was an education. Let me talk to you, Engineer Solomon. You work for the Directorate of Special Infrastructure. What is the job of your ministry?
Thank you very much, Agatha. The Directorate of Special Infrastructure, which is a strategic initiative of His Excellency, the Governor of Delta State, Dr. Emmanuel Uduaghan, was created to fast-track some special projects. And it has been in existence over a year ago. Presently, we are renovating and rehabilitating 50 primary and secondary schools across the state. In addition, we are also building 10 brand new model schools. We are also into road construction.
That's where there's a problem.
Yes, we...
You are going to get a lot of questions on the road issue, I can assure you. But go on.
We are doing the dualization of Ughelli-Asaba Road, which is a 149-kilometer road. It used to be a federal road, but Delta State government has just taken it so that the citizens can enjoy the benefit of good governance. The governor believes that these facilities are to the benefit of the people of the state, and that in order for the people to do their businesses and enjoy the dividends of democracy, if you leave all these facilities for government, federal government, so to say, and they are not forthcoming, then it is the citizens of Delta State that will suffer. I'm sure that was what informed the governor's decision to embark on that gigantic project. In addition, we are doing another road you call the Transwario de Shekiri Bridges and Access Road. It's about 23 kilometers and also with about 23 bridges. It is being constructed to link the most difficult part of the state. It's going to terminate at Ude Shekiri. It's cutting across so many communities in the hinterland.
Okay, let me ask you a question. Especially as it concerns buildings. What did you find to be the state of a lot of the structures that you are currently working on?
Some of the facilities we met were actually in a kind of critical state, in the sense that you were talking about maintenance. Some of them were probably not properly maintained. And some of them, due to usage over a period of time, has also deteriorated, having probably outlived
its lifespan.
Their lifespan. Some of them, ordinarily when you saw them, you would think that they were still very strong. But at the point of mobilization to site, we discovered some needed far-reaching works than we anticipated. And the result is what you are even seeing across the state now, how beautiful they are.
Let's take a break. We'll be right back. You're welcome back. We're still talking about our maintenance culture. Me and Engineer Solomon, we're exchanging glances. Don't worry. How long do you need before you need to start maintenance after an original construction?
Well, if I tell you that it's immediately, you will laugh.
Is immediately?
Yes.
As I finish building here, I start to maintain it.
Let me tell you why. There are some things in your building. You know, there are, just as he was saying, there are some maintenance that is holistic. Like now, if you go to the airport and you want to wash your hand, they don't put tap there. You put your hand like this, the water comes out.
Yes.
It's censored.
Yes.
You know why? Because if it is tap, as long as plenty people are turning the head, it will break. You understand what I'm saying now? In your house, you turn the tap, the children come, they will turn it 360 degrees. so you, if you have such, if your this thing is, it doesn't even cost you much. I'm just talking about the things you need to, like your bulb now. If you put, your bulb is not supposed to be there for 20 years. If the one bulb goes off in the sitting room, you close your eye, then you come the next day, the other bulb goes off. Then you come the next day, the other bulb goes. Then you say, oh, all these bulbs they are doing these days.
They are fake.
They are fake. So, you know, you must have it at the back of your...
We're all identifying with you. We say these things.
So you must have at the back of your mind that even in your personal house, I'm not talking as government now.
Yes.
In government cycle, they have a maintenance department which takes care. I'm talking as an individual now. If you build a house, don't have it at the back of your mind that the thing they are going to last from everlasting to everlasting. Like your tap will fall, your board will go back.
So there are some things in your house that you need to start to maintain from.
Yes, you even need to watch whether the pipes, because when you just park into a house, when you finish building, you are supposed to run some things at maybe about 2-3 months. Like now, you are supposed to run the taps, even the water system, to see that there is no leakage before you start putting your tiles. In maintenance, you must observe some of these things, just as the one you call routine maintenance, that has to do with your light, your tap, and all these things. And many times, when they even tell you this tap is 3.5, this one is 1.5, I'm just educating us now. Always ask question. Why is this one 3.5? Why is this one 1.5? Don't just say, oh, this one is too expensive. Give me 1.5. Oh, you might take the 1.5 and you find out that you are not better off.
Let me ask you a favor before I go back to you, Engineer Solomon. As an individual, what has been your observation about the general maintenance, especially, there are some estates you go to, even as individuals, and I say, these people, don't they see the state of their house? Like, you can't believe that people really live in there. What has been your observation?
Yeah, I would want to say it's really sad. Aside individuals generally, there's some places you just go to and you wonder, these people pass here every day. Don't they see the state of this place? Can't they just do something about it? At least so that it will be for our good, for everybody's good. But they just leave it, like you said, and it degenerates. There's a particular road just behind my house that is a small close. The road that connects to another major road now. For you to come out of that place is a problem. Your vehicle has to touch the ground. And that place has just been like that. And guess what? Several people pass there every day. But as time goes on, if that road continues like that, it keeps wearing out. And before you know it, that place will not be, people can't access that place again. So it's like that with as individuals. When you go to people's compounds and you see their houses and you're like, wow, this compound is like this. They don't see these things. That's why it brings us back to what we're talking about from the beginning, that some people don't have this maintenance culture. They just feel that when they put up the buildings, they put up this place, they put up the roads, they just let it be. And you know that there is no way you can just let those places be like that. If you leave them like that, they get worse. He has given us a full load of everything we need to know. It will just get bad, and you spend more money than you would have spent if you started doing those things and started putting them in place from the outset.
If you look at that road she was talking about, you see a lot of people with Jeep.
That's what I was
some people intentionally even buy this Jeep. They say, why are you buying the Jeep? He said the road is bad. So what I would just want to say, if you look at the communal efforts in those days, the people, they were not civil engineers. You see some houses in places that are actually government acquisition. You see people building in places where the plans are not approved. Maybe people are not supposed to stay there. There is a lot of construction work going on. People will even go and stay there.
So you mean there are areas that are not on government map right now?
Yes, of course. Maybe what is supposed to maybe it's supposed to have industry there, and you will see people build there.
So who gives permission?
They don't have approval. I'm telling you, they don't have approval to build. If you want to build, normally you first go and get approval.
Okay, then the road will
come.
Oh, that's what you mean.
The road will come, the light will come, then the individual will fence his house, then you start building. But
here you finish building
the other way around.
Oh, I get it.
Build, then you can't get approval.
Let me talk on the issue of roads, Engineer Solomon. Do we have anything that we do in particular that leads to the breakdown of our roads faster than what I don't know whether to say normal?
It could be either they are not properly designed or not well constructed, or the materials that are used for the construction are substandard. Another factor could be that it could be due to probably poor supervision. You know, all of these factors can aggregate to make our roads not to last. Take for example, you want to do a road in a terrain that is probably has very bad underlying materials, what we call the subgrade. Normally, you want to do proper engineering, you need to design it in such a way that you use materials that will be able to sustain load. Probably where you are supposed to use very strong materials, you now use substandard materials. The result of what you are going to do is going to be substandard. So when it is subjected to usage, which is in form of vehicular movement, over a period of very short time, the road will deteriorate.
Okay, let's take a break. We'll be right back after the break. Don't Well, welcome back. We're still talking about our maintenance culture. And Favor, I would like to ask a question. What have you noticed are some of the things that really are bad habits that we have as Nigerians concerning road use?
You see, maybe a vehicle broke down on the road, and this vehicle doesn't have the usual triangle caution sign.
Yeah.
And you know, they'll use this, the grassy, even some very heavy objects, serious, dangerous objects to block the road. Maybe trying to indicate to other road users that this vehicle it's just stationed here. And guess what? When the vehicle has been removed, those items, those objects are left there. And at times it causes a lot of problems on the road. Either you see them still there on the road after maybe rain, sun and everything. This kind of attitude could cause damage to those roads.
They uproot plants and stuff.
And all that. Most times when I see it on the express, I feel like these people have removed their vehicle. What stops them from taking out these items from the road? So those are part of the problems of this road. And as time goes on, this road keeps wearing out. But like we were saying, it's not like we're trying to exonerate the government, but most times you discover that this road, like he said, it tends to wear out. Vehicles pass them and pass on them, and you know, after some time, after some years. But we notice that the roads are only maintained. I don't know if I have some witness here. Only maintained when they are potholes. I've not seen a situation whereby these roads are still okay, and by maybe after some months they come and they just pour the usual tires on them, trying to maintain them. It's never like that. It's only when there are potholes. And guess what? They'll be filled with some funny, even cement on the roads. And how do you expect those roads to stay for a longer period of time?
That you use cement over the asphalt that is on the road.
Yeah. So they go back to the same position
again.
People
use cement.
It's there. It's everywhere.
On the road?
Yeah.
Yes.
There are two types of pavement. That is the road you run on. There's the one you call flexible pavement. That's the one made of asphalt. There's another one you call rigid pavement, which is made with concrete. You can also have a hybrid of the two.
Okay, that's the one you're telling me.
So the one you see, which is the maintenance, but I just also want to point out something very quickly. Part of the one you even call self-help maintenance, like somebody digging and filling the road, is also detrimental to the road, because most times you find them digging from what you call the shoulder of the road. That one also has its function to protect that pavement. So when you see some of these people, most times they say, oh, they are collecting money on the road. They are patching the road, or they are helping people to, they are also helping to destroy the road further, because by the time you
what they take it from the side of the road.
Yes, to fill the pavement.
And that is not good, yes?
It's not good. It's not good. As a matter of fact, it should be discouraged.
Oh, okay. Engineer Dereke, let me ask you, what are some of the worst habits that you think we have as Nigerians that makes our maintenance culture so difficult?
You see, for example, you know, engineer was talking about taking materials from the shoulders of the road to fill the pothole. When you do that, for example, it's a very bad habit, because the material you are supposed to use for the road in the first instance is selected. The earth itself must go through what is called the normal test, so that when you compact, you can receive the asphalt that is coming. You see people going on demonstration, and when they burn tires, you see organizers. They still come by the side of the road, they make their fire, and when they do like this, everybody will be there. You see the woman selling akara by the side of the road, is making fire.
Fire is not good for them.
Yes, hitting the asphalt. If you come and say, madam, this one is not good, say, we no go chop. So you see, in different parts of our community, we'll have several. Many of them you have mentioned, but you will see this one that is common to us, carrying sand from the shoulder. The shoulder itself is supposed to protect the main asphalt. They put that shoulder, just like you have your shoulder here. It makes your neck to be firm. The road too has its own shoulder, and it is believed that before the shoulder will wear out and get to the main course, government will have come back to do something. So when you take it, or when you burn tires, when the organizer works, the woman selling rice, most of this, if you put them together, makes our road. But then when you come to the house, you proper just to dispose our refuse, you go to some houses and you will be shocked that there will be pure water this thing on the ground. There will be what you call the bottled water thing. They are not well arranged. And if I ask you now, how many people have 2 dustbins? You see that
that's alien to us. That's recyclable and non-recyclable.
You are supposed to separate your waste. I was in a place now, they asked a child, he said, I want to wee-wee. The mother said, go and wee-wee there. The child said, no, I'm not going, because maybe this girl has gone to a nursery school and they have told them, you must not wee-wee. He said, my friend, wee-wee there. He said, no. The girl said, no. So, and many of us now, if I ask you want to wee-wee now, especially guys, you just go to the next, you just go to one corner, next available first. Then when the first start bringing out green, he say, look at government. Like 2 weeks ago, I was in a vehicle. One guy just threw out something. The thing shocked me. The man beside me said, wait. So we started running after the vehicle. So when the guy came out, it turns out to be my friend's friend. That's the guy that was sitting by. He said, now you do this. He said, waiting, now you be government. So now we said, and you see,
that's the mentality I'm talking about. So how does it concern you?
It doesn't concern you.
There's even one common one. When you post bill on walls, you see government will build facilities and paint them, and because if you go to most of our schools now, you see people either they paste bill on top of the fence that we have just constructed, or even on the blocks. You also see some, they write on the wall. They write, they will even write on the walls, and so many things. Back to the road, you see some people planting cassava on the shoulder.
No, I've not seen that one.
It's very common when you get towards the Barani area. Yes, they do it. And by the time they harvest the cassava, they have created room for water to go under the pavement. And before long, you see potholes developing. So these are some of the other things you see them do.
The government we have these days, they don't actually, there's a normal general saying that new government, new law, and new politics. So you see that when a government just, come into seat, you will see that they will just turn away from the things that the previous ones have done. So they want to, start their own so that they can take glory. Even we, the masses that they are serving, you understand, can really say that, yes, truly, these people are really working. They will just abandon the previous one and at the end continue with a new project. And when you see, when another government should come, it will abandon the one that they've done and want to start its own, so that
is what leads to the dilapidation of the former
masses, they are not having interest in maintaining the previous ones.
Some of the times our contractors, the contractors we contract these roads out to are dishonest. When you give them, like if you give somebody 500 million to construct a road and then he spends just like 150 million to construct the road and puts the rest in his pocket, how do you confirm or check the credibility of the contractor that you are giving out one job to?
You are supposed to supervise. You give a job based on specifications. This road you are going to...
So how come you have roads here that don't have drainage?
It could be that at the point of construction, the provisions were not probably adequate to take care of drainage at that time. But it doesn't stop, putting up drains if it becomes necessary.
So are you ensuring now that jobs that are given out, contracts that are awarded, are meeting the standards and the specifications?
Yes, for the Directorate of Special Infrastructure and Delta State Government of today, they are ensuring that roads that are, if you go around, even the DBS, all this one you see, even they are putting up even walkways to complement even the drains that they are putting in place and all that.
How are you going to ensure that they are maintained?
I think part of what we have been discussing here since is also the fact that the maintenance business ought to be a joint effort. If you watch what we are doing now,
yes,
you see manholes created. Those manholes are to ensure that you can go into the drains and clean them nicely so that they can flow and work effectively.
I just want to use this privilege to talk to Nigerians, including myself, to say that they say charity begins from home. You know, if you are responsible enough at home to say when there is water on the floor, you clean it so that somebody else will not fall. You know, that takes you to the community, that takes you to society, and you don't want to blame somebody for a particular thing. You want to say, let me be responsible for this particular thing. So I would just want to say that I think to me, the maintenance culture is about being responsible as a person because it will affect every other facet.
Okay, I'm going to ask you to give a last line, something that you want Nigerians, Deltans to take away. Let me start with you, Francis.
Thank you very much. You know, we're talking about maintenance, and we know, just like the last speaker just said, that you and I, which comprise of the government today, will try to imply the maintenance that will come from individual, in the sense that if you discover that something is not put in a proper order, in a proper channel, so you can as well do it freely on your own.
Maintenance culture that we say that is lacking is supposed to be in both ways, both on the side of us as individuals and on the side of government.
And let me say, well done. The things I have seen, the ones you have done, the model schools, the hospitals, the health centers,
Bus shelters.
I'm just hoping that they can be properly maintained to look like they look now in the next 5 years. That would be the plus.
So government on its part, the facilities that we have put in place now, the 50 schools we have renovated and rehabilitated, the bus shelters, the roads, and what have you that we are putting together. Both the hospitals, government is making effort to make sure that arrangements are put in place to ensure that the facilities do not deteriorate out of lack of maintenance. So we are trying to incorporate what we call facility management, even into the hospital facilities that we are renovating now, so that the facilities will be maintained and people can enjoy and use them over a very long period of time.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. I want to say that every one of us as Nigerians should imbibe the maintenance culture, for you as an individual and for the government. Like the road I was talking about just behind my place, my area, several government officials pass there. They have big vehicles and the rest. They could as well stop and do this. But even if they don't do it, as an individual, just have it at the back of your mind. I'm doing this for my own good and for other persons. So as an individual, just have it at the back of your mind that you should have a maintenance culture. If you have a maintenance culture, it's going to go out to help every other person and as a whole, Nigerians.
Whenever we see something that is wrong. Don't let us say it's everybody's business. Take it as your personal responsibility, and you will be amazed that when you are doing it or when you organize people to do it, even public things, even your own house. Imagine you are cleaning your house, removing cobwebs. You will be shocked that your younger brother, your sister is going to join you. And as we do this, we'll lay good examples to other people to follow. So we as Nigerians and as individuals should know that maintenance is part of life. Just as they say security is everybody's business, maintenance too is everybody's business, because that is what keeps the structure going.
A very big thank you to you. Thank you for your contribution. Thank you for education. Thank you to members of the audience for your participation. On that note, I'd like to just say to everyone who's watching, I think we should be the change that we want for our country. Let it start with you and me. As Michael Jackson said, start with the man in the mirror. And I'm sure Nigeria will be a better place. Until next week when we come your way again, bye-bye and see you next week.